I didn't know it myself until I was here 5 or 6 years. I obviously knew within a few months of living here about HH because he's a huge figure in Barcelona.
He is, yeah.
He went. His greatest success was in Italy in the '60s with Grand Inter.
Yeah.
Won back-to-back European Cups in the mid-'60s, and then his Waterloo was that Inter side lost to Celtic in the '67 European Cup final. But the following year he went on to Roma, and in '69 one of his players died from in a dressing room in Cagliari from alleged doping. So the book concludes with it's threaded through with investigation of HH's doping. He systematically doped the Barca team in the late 50s. He introduced doping to Spain, and then in the 60s in Italy it was rampant, and he upped it a level there, and then
there was a showdown with Ladislao Kubala which brought us comeuppance, wasn't it, in Barcelona?
In Barcelona, yeah, totally. And
Kubala went on to train Spain and play for Spain.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, coached Barca as well. He didn't have any success there, but he they were two titanic personalities. Like Kubala is the biggest personality in Barca's history in the 20th century. A huge figure here. They more or less kind of built the Camp Nou to accommodate him. The old stadium, there used to be 5,000 people locked outside. They couldn't find room to let everybody in to see him. He was just a huge figure, and they clashed. And HH he had great success with Barca, but he could see the writing on the wall, so he got out, and he'd lined up an exit strategy. So I'd signed mid-season in his last season to move to Inter in the summer of 1960, and went off to the land of the Lira.
Yeah. Tell us, was the 1968 Eurovision rigged by Franco?
Yeah, that was.
I was there at the time. We believed the truth that Maciel won fair and square.
Oh, I love that lady. Yeah, she was great fun. The first radio documentary I did, I think it was 2014. It was investigating it was a rumor I had heard that Franco had rigged the 19.
I can't believe that
Eurovision Song Contest. From the evidence I digged up, he did. I interviewed two record executives from who actually were living here in Barcelona at the time, and they told me the story that at the time the voting was done through the kind of radio stations and so they went around, Spanish executives from radio companies went around bribing the juries in different countries, so Maciel could win. She defeated the most famous Eurovision
by
song
1 point on home territory.
In London, beat England. Cliff Richards, congratulations. Co-written by our very own Phil Coulter, who
I didn't know that, so I read about it.
Yeah, great guy. I interviewed him I've interviewed him many times over the years. A great guy, big football nut. He's mad into Derry City, but he co-wrote that song. Did he write Sandy Shaw's Puppet on a String?
Yes, he was involved in that. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, as well. Maciel pipped in a very dramatic countdown. She pipped Cliff Richard, and the Spain got to host the Eurovision the following year. It was at the time the Franco regime were ostracized in Europe, so it was a kind of it was a propaganda play by the Franco regime, or that's what the evidence suggests.
Yeah.
So it was a great story to work on.
And then we won us 2 years later in '70, wasn't it?
That's right, with Dana. Yeah. I think actually Phil Coulter was involved in producing that song, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's the Midas touch with the Eurovision.
But some of Franco's ashes, we believe, were under the Bernabeu before Florentino redid it. That's how we used to win all those European Cup games.
Yeah.
That's Madrid's strength. Franco built that club for us, white Blancos, and he was there guiding us all through the years.
Yeah, with cement.
Until this year, we were let down badly.
Yeah, the wheels have come off this season, that's for sure.
Now, it was his club, and that was the whole, in my time, those derbies in Madrid when Cruyff and Naismith used to come down, play against Breitner and Netzer. They were huge political platforms that just carried over from the Franquista era. You know, Madrid was the club of the country.
Oh yeah, I'd give it anything to have been at those games. Like
they were classic. I mean, they were classics. Excuse the pun. They were classics. You know what I mean? The atmosphere, the tension, the referee's life wasn't worth it. I think most refs had to leave the country after those games.
Yeah. Oh, it's visceral. Like the most enjoyable aspect I had doing that Clásico book was investigating the hooligan element of the rivalry, and particularly in the 80s. And met hooligans from that time, and they had great war stories about the Clásicos. And but by the time I got here in 2010, it's full of tourists. You know, the local fans are priced out of the. Yeah,
I was there last season. And what I found is when I used to go over the years, you used to be socios who knew about the game. We'd have our peoples together and talk about the good old days and Puro Juanito, que pasó. And now you go and you sit beside 15-year-olds waving souvenir bags who've just left the shop. And it's a totally different experience watching the game. They're not interested in the game, Richard.
Yeah.
They're just looking at the whole spectacle.
Oh yeah, it's so flat in comparison. Like if you can get a nighttime game, it will be there under floodlights, and that will add to it. But I've been to another factor as well, as I've been every year that one of the Clásicos will be on at like 12 in the day, or 1 for TV reasons for Asia and stuff, and it's soul destroying. Like, because just the atmosphere is so flat in there. Obviously great players on the pitch, and the Clásicos luckily are always good games. You've goals in them. It's very rare. There's the only 0-0 draws were in 2019, I think it was, and 2003 or 2004, Beckham's debut in a Clásico. So the games are always fantastic, really attacking, but just the atmosphere in the stands is not what it would have been when you were going as a young fella in the 70s.
And last question: if I came to you as a young fella and said I want to get into journalism, what's the route? Should I do it? What would you say to them?
Gosh, that's a good question. I think now it's different to when I was there. As in, this is an advantage. You can get, you could set up your own kind of blog and write, and at least you don't need to get in the door to a newspaper. You can build up a portfolio and show your content or your ability. I'd say just go to journalism school would be one way that would get you an internship and get your leg in the door. Would try your local paper, get a summer job, or get experience and get in there. It's not that difficult. The technical, the nuts and bolts of the job, but it's just getting experience. And I think with most professions, it's a rite of passage that you will work for free at the start. So be prepared for that. It's a tough job, tough to make a living out of it, but if you can make it work, it's I love it. Like it's a dream job. Just being able to work on stories that are interesting for you. It's nothing beats it. And my great pleasure in the job is doing interviews. I just love talking to great minds or about particular stories, asking them about stories and how they happened and that. So just try and get experience, and I think there is a route in via